Welcome to the China Mining Club, and today delighted to have Vincent Mascolo, the Chief Executive of Ironridge Resources. Very exciting company in West Africa with gold and lithium, two really hot commodities at the moment. Hello, Vincent.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Very well indeed. So why don't you, for our viewers, introduce your company and present what you've got?
Thanks, Andrew. So Ironridge is a diversified explorer and developer, primarily focused in Africa. We have our commodity focus at this time is gold and lithium, but we're obviously, given the heat of the gold market, we're heavily geared towards gold at this time. But in saying that, what two great commodities to be in? Gold during uncertain times and the exponential growth story of lithium. And here's our slide, our company disclaimer, which you can read at your own leisure. And following this is a corporate snapshot, and as you can see, we've got a tight register. We're well cashed up with roughly $5 million US in the treasury, and we have the benefit of like-minded and visionary shareholders in SAW Limited out of South Africa, DGR Global Limited out of Australia, and Sumitomo Corporation out of Tokyo, Japan. And we also, management has an impressive holding in the order of around 8%. As you can see, we have quite an extensive African footprint. We operate in multiple jurisdictions across multiple commodities. And to date, we have made 3 discoveries in 3 of those African jurisdictions in 3 years. So it's looking quite promising for shareholders and new investors to come to the table. We have a very strong investment case, as I've just touched on earlier, what two great commodities to be in. We have the safe haven of gold and the exponential growth story around lithium. Ironridge at this time represents great value. We've been operating through COVID. We've got stringent systems and procedures in place which have allowed us to drill over 37,000 metres in Côte d'Ivoire and continue our activities in both Ghana and, to a lesser extent, Chad, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But having good occupational health and safety systems in place is paramount during these uncertain times. Further, from a high-level technical perspective, we have a drilling for equity program with Geodrill, one of West Africa's premier drilling contractors. And we see this investment from a drilling contractor into Ironridge as a resounding endorsement of our diversified exploration business model. So moving right along into the assets now, we're going to focus initially on our Côte d'Ivoire portfolio. We have an extensive portfolio in Côte d'Ivoire. We are one of the larger tenure holders in Côte d'Ivoire for gold, with over 3,900 square kilometres of tenure. We've curated effectively 3 province-scale projects. All our projects are along gold-bearing structural trends that have either produced or are still producing multi-million ounce deposits today. Our focus area in this presentation will be our flagship project, Zaranu, and that's the sausage-looking project in between Bodita and Bienmois. And we currently now have we have 3 drill rigs operating on the Zaranu project, which has an extensive 47-kilometre strike gold corridor, and it's proving up quite nicely. You can see here from this slide, you can see how heavily work that has been by the artisanal miners. They've been a little bit cheeky, but now the government stepped in so they can ensure revenue streams and have taken away the illegal miners. So good news for Ironridge, which allows us to carry on unhindered. Our first pass drilling program at Zaranu was roughly 9,000 metres of combination RC and air core drilling. We did 7 or 8 traverses over an 8-kilometre strike, and every single traverse intersected high-grade gold intersections. And further to that, with every hole we drilled, every hole actually intersected gold in some way, shape or form, whether it was high or very low grade, but very rare to have every drill hole intersect gold. We've completed the first phase, and then we moved quickly on to our second phase drilling program during the wet and the height of the COVID period. We've drilled another 37,000 meters during that period. 22,000 meters for an aggregate of around 37,000 meters. Here are some highlight numbers, but I'll quote some of the good numbers. 5 meters at 270 grams per tonne at Ebola, which is our exciting target up in the north. But in the central zone, Awasu, we're also seeing significant grades, 24 meters at 13.5 grams, 4 meters at 25 grams. And then down in the south, we have Yakase, which is effectively a walk-up free drill program of historical data in excess of over 20,000 meters of drilling, and our third drill rig should be turning there shortly. So effectively at Zaranu, what we have are 3 main zones at the moment. Is Yakase to the south, the main zone in the centre, Awasu, which will provide early ounces, and then our earlier stage zone, Ebola in the north. Of these 3 areas covering 47 kilometres of strike, we have only drill tested 10% of our project area to date. That effectively covers the main flagship Zaranu, but as I said previously, we have an extensive portfolio in Côte d'Ivoire, which is the envy of many of the junior players in the district. So we'll move on from Zaranu and we'll go straight into Chad. Chad is one of those jurisdictions that we have the first mover advantage. Not really understood by the investment community as yet, but there always needs to be someone first to move in, do the hard yards, develop, make the discovery, and we're that group that have done that. We've been in country now for 3.5 years under the Ironridge banner, 5 years under the Tecton banner, inclusive since we took them over. Chad, we have five major projects in Chad for a total of 900 square kilometres, another province zone of mineralisation. And as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, one of the artisanal workers there manually sorting and beneficiating. His tailings are running at around 7 grams per tonne, so quite impressive leftovers. So it means there's something significant there. But as you can see, we did 15 kilometres of trenching last year. You can actually see this trenching from space, and we've identified an anomalous target zone of over 3 square kilometres, so 3 kilometres long by 1 kilometre wide, and you can see some of the nuggets that we've actually picked up from our trenching programs. The flagship project we have in Côte d'Ivoire is called Dorothy, and here's a slide which shows you the continuous zones that we've already identified through our 15 kilometres of trenching. The blue outlined area is running somewhere in the order of around 7-8 grams per tonne, and we have another 6 or 7 continuous reiterations of that as we move along strike of the Dorothy anomalous zone. But if you actually look at that footprint in its own right, it has the potential of rivaling some of the world's largest surface gold mines. So we're very excited, and we think if everything goes to plan, either later this year or early next year, we will be drilling Dorothy. We're very excited about the potential. We believe it's the analogue is an intrusive related gold system, and we've conducted IP surveys which indicate that mineralisation goes to at least 100 metres in depth, and just by virtue of the artisanal workings that we've seen before it becomes precariously dangerous for them, we've seen them digging down into hard rock up to 20 metres. So we're very confident the mineralisation goes down to depth. So yeah, as I said earlier, we have 5 major project areas in Chad, and we have a continuous 40 kilometre strike between Dorothy and Kalaka. I think 40 seems to be our magical number between Chad and Côte d'Ivoire. So look, that pretty much covers at a very high level quickly our gold portfolios in Côte d'Ivoire and Chad, and we're certainly seeing a lot of interest in these jurisdictions from both major and mid-tier mining houses looking at their gold sustainability programs in the coming years. So I'll move on now to our which is our first discovery, but given by virtue of the market is now coming back into play, is our lithium project in Ghana. We believe we have a starter pit. It has a maiden mineral resource of 14.5 million tonnes running at 1.31% lithium oxide on an inferred basis with an indicated category of around 4.5 million tonnes. And we believe that is the starter pit. The project is outcropping, and it's the key fundamentals of this project which make it or stand out, or should I say distinguishes itself from other projects in Africa. As you can see, we're on the coast. We have a land package in excess of 684 square kilometres, and to date we've done 27,000 metres of combination RC and diamond drilling to prove up the maiden resource that we have. Further to the drilling program, we have also conducted extensive metallurgy and mineralogy test work, and our products appears to be a premium product. It's coarse grained, it's a coarse crush, which lends itself, and we're producing a premium product of more than 6% lithium oxide. And we believe that our metallurgy is a standout by a peer comparison. So what this actually means is that we have exceptional metallurgy, exceptional logistics, and we are able to produce, which all implies we are able to produce a premium product with low capital and low operating costs. So I guess just to summarise the key criteria when we look at projects, we have exceptional logistics, so multiple high voltage power lines running adjacent our site. We are less than 1 kilometre from the bitumen highway that takes you to the deep sea port of Takoradi, which is only a further 110 kilometres from the project area in itself. So these are the key fundamentals in picking a project, and it would lend itself to suggest that we actually have a lithium mine. We just need to tick these compliance boxes to convince investors that we are onto something significant. But internally, we believe we have a lithium mine. So from a news flow perspective, we've got another 50,000 metres of drilling coming into our Côte d'Ivoire Zaranou gold project. We're advancing our Chad gold project, and as I said earlier, we'll be looking to drill that either later or early next year. And then in Ghana, we're now ramping that up and starting to do more regional exploration work so we can add valuable tonnes in quick order. So in summary, we are involved in highly demanded commodities, and we are in jurisdictions that are generally understood by investment communities, and we are moving towards a pure gold play as the interest levels on our lithium project grow on a daily basis. And we have a significant track record of discovery. As I said earlier, 3 discoveries in 3 jurisdictions in 3 years. Our shareholder base has a track record of creating wealth for investors, and we have a strong treasury to take us forward into 2021.
Vincent, that's a terrific overview of the company. Maybe just a couple of questions. One on your gold. I mean, clearly you have a world-class gold asset potential here. We know the Chinese are very interested in gold in West Africa. I mean, are you open to conversations with the Chinese in terms of a partner to develop it, or actually a complete takeover if they wanted it?
Look, we're open. We're open to all sorts of deal structures. And in fact, Andrew, we've signed a number of CAs with some Chinese companies, and probably had a discussion with some of them a few hours ago.
We'd like to hear that. And then just turning to the lithium, I mean, lithium, everyone gets very excited about lithium, but it's actually very difficult to put a lithium mine into production. I mean, most people feel that there'll only be a limited number around the whole world that actually get there. But of course, in Africa, would it be fair to say that really, although you're by the coast and therefore you could ship the lithium very easily to China, but really it needs an African sort of battery manufacturer to really stimulate the market for an African mine to go into production?
Look, you're absolutely right. Lithium is abundant globally. It's the point of extraction that it proves to be the difficult part. But for some reason, Awoya just happens to be a very pure deposit. I mean, we don't have any other credits. It's just pure lithium. It's coarse grained. It's simple processing and bit of beneficiation. It's just a dense media gravity separation flow sheet. So we don't have to go through flotation. That effectively halves your capex. And being so close to the coast and infrastructure means our OPEX, by virtue of those key criteria, is going to be low, or certainly in the first quartile. But look, what we actually do see is we recently joined the European Battery Alliance, and that shook the tree quite well for us, and that sort of put us on another map. And we are seeing a lot of interest to take our lithium into Europe, and that obviously lowers the capex again, because we're not having to ship it to, for argument's sake, other jurisdictions.
Vincent, really good to talk to you. I think the future for Ironridge looks very, very positive. So we look forward to also talking to you again in the future.
All right, thanks very much, Andrew. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.